Kia ora koutou, ko Madeleine Armstrong Wilcox toku ingoa. I'm the head of programs here at the Neurodiversity in Education Project. Welcome to this little run through about clubs and how you might use clubs in your classroom or in your school. We'll talk about what clubs is all about and what kind of things happen in clubs. So thank you again. Okay, so as a quick rundown of what Clubs is all about, it's a free online platform for learning and connection for any sparky, curious kids who have particular interests. The idea for Clubs came out of one of the specialist programs that we run at the Neurodiversity in Education Project, and that's Mind Plus. And at Mind Plus, our kids do talent projects. So they do projects in an area they're interested in. And the goal of Mind Plus is bringing kids with like minds together. Now, I was busy talking with this one student at Mind Plus who was telling me all about his project about the royal houses of Europe over time and how that was similar or dissimilar to New Zealand's royal family, the Māori king movement, etc. And he told me all sorts of fascinating things that he was clearly so interested in and so excited in. And I have a bit of a historical interest, so I was nodding along enthusiastically. And after this conversation, he said, you know what? It's so good to be able to talk to someone about history. And I thought, hang on a minute, you're in a like-minded class. Do you not have anyone to talk to about histories? Yeah. But they might be interested in art, they might be interested in science, they might be interested in coding or cars or dogs. I just want to talk to someone about history, which is entirely reasonable. And from there, the idea of clubs really started, that actually, no matter where you are in the country, no matter what your context is, what your school is like, or if you're homeschooled, you can connect into clubs to meet kids online who have similar interests to you. And you can spend time connecting with those kids and doing some learning together just in that special interest area. So that's kind of what it's all about. We estimate year 2 up to year 10 year level. We have a set of clubs that are younger in focus, probably year 2 to about year 7 or 8. And then we have a parallel set of clubs that are for the more maturely minded kids from about year 7, 8 up to around year 10. None of the content is year leveled in our clubs. It's all about that kind of maturely minded or more casually minded. So our more maturely minded students who want much more serious level of interaction tend to be in our senior clubs, and the younger emoji users, enthusiastic emoji spammers, tend to be in our standard clubs. So clubs, because they are online using Google Classroom, so they're really easy access, can be used anywhere where there's a device with an internet connection. So they can be used in your classroom. You might have Passion Time or Genius Hour or any of those things, and without the burden of you providing all of the resources, all of the learning content, all of the everything for those things, and without the burden of kids having to come up with complicated plans that they write down with goals and SMART goals and actionable questions and planned products to finish up with, without all that pressure on anyone concerned, kids could use clubs in your classroom as a way to do some learning activities that are high interest and fun, and there's a range of them. We'll talk them through in a minute. to connect with other people in their interest areas. It doesn't have to be everyone in your class using clubs. It might just be that you peel away those really sparky kids that really have that passionate interest in something. And I'll tell you what our clubs are shortly. They might use clubs and other people might be doing other things. So it doesn't have to be an everyone or no one situation. It might just be some. You could use them. We have schools using clubs as lunchtime activities or as a school-wide activity. So it might be, Thursday, 11 o'clock, everybody in our school does their talent option or does their club option or group option. It might be the time where you have orchestra and kapahaka and newspaper and garden to table and everything. Everyone goes to one of their things, and clubs time is just one of the things that kids can use and choose. Or it might be a lunchtime option for kids if you have lunchtime clubs running. Our clubs might be a good addition into your clubs. Clubs can also be used at home. So you might encourage kids as homework or as options for home-based learning to connect into clubs. Again, because it's just powered by Google Classroom, which is so easy access, kids can get to it at home as well. So lots of opportunities there, and we have done the heavy lifting in setting up the platform, setting up the ways that kids can connect, setting up a range of learning-focused activities for kids to choose. All right, let's have a look at what the clubs are. Each club has a little wee icon, so let's do my memory test of what these clubs are. We have readers and we have creative writers. At the senior level, we combine those two clubs, and that's our literarians, because often those maturely minded kids are both readers and creative writers. For the writers, we mean the storytellers in any way, shape, or form. We don't mean those who can handwrite beautifully, or those who write very long stories. We have comic makers, we have fan fiction aficionados, we have storytellers, kids who can just spin a good yarn. That's a form of creative storytelling. So it's a broad header, creative writers. Right. Creative writers and readers. We have mathematicians and scientists. Now, our mathematicians, this isn't a club for, and this actually applies to all of our clubs, this isn't a curriculum-focused extension. This is more like an opportunity to do something different and interesting and broad in that area. So we don't have leveled maths activities. It is not curriculum facing, and it is not curriculum extension. But kids can learn some really cool mathsy things and do fractals experiments for interests and learn about Kapinski's triangle and make those and find out more about prime numbers in a way that's really fun and hard for those brains. So it's more those interest-based activities than curriculum-focused extension. Same goes for science. We also have historians. We have change makers, which are for those kids that see something in the world. They're just like, that's wrong. I want to fix that. I want to change that. For those entrepreneurs and innovators, kids who are always building and creating a business idea, or they want to fix the local swimming pool because it's broken down or what have you. Change makers, there's some really cool activities in there about kids getting active in their world. We have also our coders, which is a really popular club, obviously. We have our artists and artisans, so that's people who like creating things artistically. We have our designers, which is similar, but it's more about making a thing than making something artful, if that makes sense. We also have dreamers, and that's for those kids who enjoy creating worlds and fantasy worlds and philosophizing and doing thought experiments. It's a different kind of club. for kids who have those kind of different interests. I think I've covered them all. Junior version and a senior version for each. Okay, so what do kids do in a club? We always ask them to start by introducing themselves, and then it is a fantastic idea, and we recommend this wholeheartedly, that they sit down with their teacher, and it can be run as a whole class or a group activity, or if they're just doing it at home with a parent, or if they are older and more maturely minded and can do this independently. We always encourage to start off by making a plan. What is it you want to do in here? And we think that gets a really good start to clubs. So how do kids introduce themselves? Each year we have a new introduction activity that our kids can get to. This year it's all about creating a new icon, but for themselves. So we show them our club's icons there. We get them to think about things that they are really interested in and passionate about. Create that icon in any way that works best for them. And that's something you'll probably see repeated through so much of clubs, in any way that works best for them. So we have kids using, for the icon activity specifically, we have kids using Canva, Google Drawings, just Google Slides, just images put together in an interesting way, pen and paper, pencil and paper, felts, Lego, Minecraft, coding platforms, Scratch in particular. We've had a really cool little animation. Whatever works best. And that level of flexibility is really important, that actually your kids know how they like to do things, and clubs is open and flexible to let them do things in that way. We always ask in our activities that kids share back something in the stream. We don't expect activities to be handed in or tuned in, but shared in the stream so that other kids can see them, get inspired, ask questions, get feedback from other kids, get feedback from some of the teachers that pop in as well. And I just want to show you some of our icons that we've seen so far this year. You can see Canva, very popular use, and you can see how kids are putting together the different things they are interested in. It's not just, oh, I like sport, so here's a picture of sport. There's lots going on, and that's what we really love to see from our curious and sparky and interested kids. Okay, the club's plan is super simple. We've got a plan pack in each club's classroom that guides kids through this, and there's a vision for teachers and parents to tell them more about it too. But the plan, super simple. What have you done? What do you want to do? And this plan introduces kids to the parts that are in the kind of essential parts in a club, the essential activities. And those are the tasters, the tutorials, the badge, and the project. And there's a few special things as well that I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so these are the basics: tasters, tutorials, projects, and badges. So tasters are short, sharp little activities that are, oh, have a go with this interesting thing with lots of options, lots of variety, lots of flexibility in there. The aim is to get them introduced to something interesting in that area. Tutorials are the step-by-step guides. We have found some of our favorite step-by-step guides and shared them into the club, and we've created our own step-by-step guides to specific skills relevant in that area. We have a project guide in all of our clubs because we have plenty of kids who are like, oh, I really want to do a science project, but don't really know what to do. Who can help me? We have a guide for how to build a really simple project without complicated planning, without the need to have everything written down in minute detail. It's just thinking through, what would you like to learn or do here? How are you going to do that? Make sure that's got a bit of stretch in there for you. And what are you going to share back with us? Because we're interested to know. And then most of our clubs, not all of them, but most of them have a badge project. And the badge is about kids working through a structured set of 8 or 9 activities that build one from the other over 8 or 9 weeks. So that's roughly a school term of an hour a week of work. So that's quite handy for our teachers to know that that's roughly a session a week sitting there ready for you, planned out, kids can do. Once they complete all of the activities, they fill in a checklist, tell us a little bit about it. They don't have to hand them in, turn them in, have them marked, anything like that. Just tell us they've done them. Send that checklist back to us, and they actually get a physical badge posted out to them. And they are super cute little actual badges that have the club's icon on them. Really, really fun way and structured way to get kids working in that interest area. Okay, a few little extras that we have in there, because from time to time there are cool things that happen in the world. There are interesting things like Neurodiversity Celebration Week during March, where we have some bonus challenges around that. Like Women's History Month, also happens to be March. We have some bonus challenges around that. Those are just the additional interesting little extras from time to time. We'll often have a school holiday project that we pop in the bonus challenges, or we had a summer challenge for kids to work on over the summer. Quick and simple and fun though. These are not onerous, but they are interesting and help kids get connected. We also have each term what we call an activation week, where we have online sessions, live online sessions across the week, all through the day and after school as well. We bring in really interesting people to talk, often young people. We can't always get young people, but we aim to, where they talk about something they are passionate about. With our Clubs Kids, and we put up our schedule and Clubs Kids can come in. They're also recorded, so if the logistics don't work for that live online session, that's okay. They can check in at another time. But to give you a little idea of some of the cool things we've had things like design with Minecraft. We've had how to create fashion with wool, how to start your own fashion business. We've had mushrooms, we've had rock hounding, we've had the geological history of New Zealand. We have had the history of trade in the ancient world. We've had a Greek mythology chat. We have had chats about Barbie and design. We have had what it means to think like a coder for our coders. We have had introduction to philosophy from the ancient world. All sorts of interesting people talking about the things they are passionate about. And it is an amazing week to get kids interested in something new, or to broaden out their interest in something, and to connect with other kids, no matter where they are in the country, who have a similar interest, which is super exciting for them. Now, one of the things we're introducing next term, we've heard from our Clubs Kids that as much as they love Activation Week, they would love the opportunity to meet online live together and be able to chat together. At present, our clubs is asynchronous, so kids chat via the stream, and that could be live or the next day or the next week, but it is not live video, as they go. So we're going to introduce Clubhouse Week next term, which is about bringing kids together for those live online chats, moderated by a grown-up in the room, obviously, but just have the opportunity for kids to jump online together and chat together, which we're really looking forward to. Okay, so how do you get involved in clubs? It's really easy. You go to our website, you look for clubs, There's a teacher guide in there that's got ideas and suggestions for how you might make it work in your classroom or your school, and the different options that we have seen people use already. We've got a guide to getting started because kids do need to be signed into a club. They need to be able to get into Google Classroom and just have a few kind of those technical logistical things sorted. Clubs are free, thanks to Ministry of Education funding, which is fantastic. So our resource, if you sign up, there is obviously no payment involved. You can sign up as many kids as you would like to into clubs. All right. If you have any questions or thoughts, I absolutely encourage you to get in touch with us. And so our website, I'll just go back, is neurodiversity.org.nz. And the clubs page is just clubs after that. And our email address is clubs@neurodiversity.org.nz. We would love to hear your questions or thoughts. If you are signing up a class or a group or a school and you would like an online meeting where it's one of our team talking to your kids, so one of our teachers to some of your kids session, you can book that in, which is super, super fun. Or you can book in a one-on-one chat with one of our team and you as a teacher, and to just fire questions through. If you can't find the answers to questions you have already on our website or in our guides, do feel free to book a time when you sign up for clubs. Okay, thanks folks for joining me. Hopefully this has given you a great little run through about what clubs is all about. It's free, it's fun, it's getting those Sparky kids connected with other Sparky kids and doing some interesting new learning together. We've done the heavy lifting so that you don't have to. Thank you again and hope you enjoy clubs. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.